The mute girl's drawing. The courtroom fell silent as the prosecutor held up the drawing. A red house, 3 bodies, 4 men in suits. "This is what Lily drew," he said. The defense attorney laughed. "Children's imagination," he scoffed. Then they brought in the second drawing, one that showed something hidden in the mayor's office that only the killer could know. The laughter stopped. Prosecutor Janet Morrison carefully placed the drawing on the evidence stand where everyone could see it. The 7-year-old's artwork was disturbingly detailed for a child her age. The red crayon house perfectly matched. The Watson family home. 3 figures lay on the ground, 1 large, 1 medium, 1 small. A father, a mother, a 10-year-old brother. All drawn in black crayon, except for the red scribbled around them. But it was the 4 suited figures that made everyone lean forward. Each face was distinct. 1 tall with grey hair, 1 stocky with a beard, 1 younger with glasses, 1 bald with a scar across his left cheek. "Your Honor," defense attorney Richard Pemberton stood, his voice dripping with condescension. "The prosecution seriously expects us to accept a child's drawings as evidence. A traumatized, mute child who can't even be properly cross-examined." Judge William Carter, a 30-year veteran of the bench, studied the drawing carefully. "Mr. Morrison, can the child communicate in any way besides drawing?" "She understands everything, Your Honor. Her muteness is selective, a psychological condition that began 2 years ago after a car accident. She communicates through drawings and written words when necessary." "Then bring in the second drawing." Janet Morrison lifted a second piece of paper. This one showed an office mahogany desk, bookshelf, a globe in the corner. Behind a picture frame on the wall, the child had drawn something hidden, a small bag with $signs on it. Richard Pemberton's laughter died in his throat. That was Mayor Thomas Pemberton's office, his father's office, and that picture frame. "This drawing was made 3 days after the murders," Janet explained, "before any search warrant was executed on the mayor's office. Yet when we did search, we found exactly what Lily drew: $50,000 in cash hidden behind the family portrait." The courtroom erupted in whispers. Judge Carter banged his gavel. "Order. Mr. Pemberton, does your client have an explanation for how a 7-year-old child could know about money hidden in his office?" Mayor Thomas Pemberton sat at the defendant's table, his face gradually draining of color. Beside him sat his brother, James, the police chief, his son Michael, a city councilman, and his longtime friend Victor Brennan, who owned half the businesses in town. The 4 most powerful men in Riverside, all matching the figures in Lily's drawing. Before we continue this incredible story, where are you watching from today? Drop your city in the comments below. And if you believe that sometimes the smallest voices reveal the biggest truths, hit that subscribe button. Justice System USA brings you stories that prove justice can come from the most unexpected places. The story had begun 6 months earlier. On a rain-soaked Tuesday evening, the Watson family, David, Marie, and their 2 children, 10-year-old Tommy and 7-year-old Lily, had been found dead in their home. All except Lily, who was discovered hiding in her bedroom closet, covered in blood but physically unharmed. Detective Sarah Chen had been first on the scene. 20 years on the force, she'd seen horrible things, but the Watson house would haunt her forever. David Watson, an investigative journalist, shot 3 times. Marie Watson, a schoolteacher, shot twice. Young Tommy, killed with a single shot as he tried to run. The girl was in the closet. Officer Martinez had reported, "She won't speak, won't make a sound, just keeps drawing." Sarah had approached the closet carefully. Lily sat hunched in the corner, a box of crayons scattered around her, drawing on the walls. Even in the dim light, Sarah could see what the child had drawn for men in suits, holding guns. "Lily, sweetheart, you're safe now," Sarah had said softly. "Can you come with me?" The child had looked up, tears streaming down her face, but no sound came from her lips. She grabbed her crayons and paper and allowed Sarah to lead her out, past the bodies of her family, never making a single noise. At the hospital, doctors confirmed Lily was physically unharmed. The blood on her clothes belonged to her family members. Psychologist Dr. Emily Ross was brought in to evaluate her. "She's suffering from selective mutism," Dr. Ross explained to Sarah. "It's a severe anxiety disorder. She can speak, there's no physical impairment, but trauma has locked her voice away. This isn't uncommon in children who witness extreme violence." "Can she tell us what happened?" "Not verbally, but she's been drawing, constantly, the same images over and over." Sarah looked at the stack of drawings. All showed the same thing. 4 men in suits entering the house. 4 men with guns. 4 men whose faces were becoming clearer and more detailed with each iteration. The problem was, the faces Lily drew belonged to the 4 most powerful men in Riverside. Mayor Thomas Pemberton had run the town for 15 years. His brother James had been police chief for 12. His son Michael had just been elected to city council. Victor Brennan owned the largest construction company, 2 hotels, and several restaurants. Together, they controlled virtually every aspect of life in Riverside. "This is insane," Chief James Pemberton had said when Sarah showed him the drawings. "A traumatized child's imagination. She probably saw us on TV or something, and her mind created a fantasy. She's drawing specific details. Chief, that scar on Victor Brennan's face. Your brother's ring. These aren't random. Detective Chen, you're letting a mute kid's doodles cloud your judgment. Find the real killers and stop wasting time." But Sarah couldn't let it go. David Watson had been an investigative journalist, and she'd discovered he'd been working on a story about city corruption. His laptop was missing, along with all his notes. His editor at the paper said David had been excited about a breakthrough but hadn't shared details. The official investigation went nowhere. Despite the drawings, there was no physical evidence linking the Pemberton family to the crime. No fingerprints, no DNA, no witnesses except a mute child whose testimony wouldn't hold up in court. That might have been the end of it, except for 2 things. First, Lily kept drawing. Living with her aunt, she produced hundreds of pictures, not just of the murder, but of other things. Mayor Pemberton's office with money hidden behind a picture. Chief Pemberton burning files. Michael Pemberton meeting with known criminals. Victor Brennan burying something in the woods behind his construction site. Second, Detective Sarah Chen wouldn't give up. Asterisk, are you watching from New York, Los Angeles, or maybe a small town like Riverside, where everyone knows everyone's secrets? Let us know in the comments. And remember to subscribe to Justice System USA, because in America, even those who cannot speak deserve justice. Sarah began investigating quietly. Knowing her own chief was potentially involved, she verified details from Lily's drawings one by one. The scar on Victor Brennan's face, confirmed from old photos. Mayor Pemberton's ring, a distinctive gold signet ring with a ruby, exactly as Lily drew it. Then came the breakthrough. Lily drew a new picture, a blue folder hidden under floorboards beneath a window. In the corner of the drawing, she'd added something specific. Her father's glasses. Sarah understood. The folder was hidden in David Watson's home office. Getting a search warrant without alerting Chief Pemberton was tricky, but Sarah managed it through a judge in the neighboring county. Sure enough, under the floorboards they found David's insurance policy, a blue folder containing copies of everything he'd been investigating. The contents were explosive. Financial records showing the Pemberton family had been embezzling from city funds for years. Photographs of Chief Pemberton meeting with drug dealers. Documents proving Victor Brennan's construction company was a front for money laundering. David Watson had discovered it all. The last page was a handwritten note. "If something happens to me, know that Thomas, James, Michael Pemberton, and Victor Brennan are responsible. I've told them I have copies hidden. They think I'm bluffing." Now Sarah had motive, but she still needed more. That's when Lily drew something new, a picture of a storage unit with the number 47 on it. Inside the unit, she drew guns. Sarah traced storage units in the area. Unit 47 at Riverside Storage was rented to a fake company that traced back to Victor Brennan. When state police raided it, they found the murder weapons, and one had a partial fingerprint belonging to Michael Pemberton. The arrests happened simultaneously. Mayor Pemberton at City Hall, Chief Pemberton at the police station, Michael Pemberton at his office, Victor Brennan at his construction site, all 4 charged with murder, conspiracy, embezzlement, and racketeering, which brought them to this moment in the courtroom, with Lily's drawings spread across the evidence table. "Your Honor," Richard Pemberton tried again, his voice less confident now. "Drawings are not evidence. This child could have heard about the money from anywhere. Perhaps the real killers told her to draw these things. Then explain this." Janet Morrison held up another drawing. It showed Chief Pemberton's police car parked outside the Watson house on the night of the murder. The license plate was perfectly rendered. Security footage from a traffic camera confirms Chief Pemberton's vehicle was in the vicinity that night. Despite his statement that he was home, she produced drawing after drawing. each one revealing another piece of the puzzle. Lily had drawn the route the killers took, the order in which her family members were shot, where the men stood, details only an eyewitness could know. The defense would have you believe this is all coincidence, Janet said, that a 7-year-old child randomly drew for specific men, accurately depicted hidden evidence, and correctly showed details of a crime scene. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Lily Watson cannot speak with words, but her drawings scream the truth. Dr. Emily Ross was called to testify about Lily's condition. Selective mutism doesn't affect cognitive ability. Lily understands everything. Her drawings are her voice. And in my professional opinion, these drawings are not fantasy or imagination. They're memories. Traumatic memories rendered in the only way she can communicate them. The defense tried to attack Lily's credibility, without attacking a child directly, a delicate balance that Richard Pemberton failed miserably. Isn't it possible the child is being coached? He asked Dr. Ross. By whom? Her aunt, who lives 2 states away. Detective Chen, who documented every interaction. These drawings have been consistent from day one. But surely a child's perception. Mr. Pemberton, Dr. Ross interrupted. Have you ever seen a 7-year-old accurately draw a license plate number from memory, or perfectly render the layout of a room they've never been in? Lily's drawings show not imagination, but eidetic memory triggered by trauma. She's showing us exactly what she saw. The turning point came when Lily herself was brought to court, not to testify in the traditional sense, but to demonstrate her ability to communicate. She entered holding her aunt's hand, a small figure in a blue dress, clutching her drawing pad. The courtroom was silent as she sat at a special table set up for her. Judge Carter spoke gently. Lily, do you understand why you're here? She nodded and wrote on her pad, to show truth. Can you draw what you saw that night? For the next hour, Lily drew. The entire courtroom watched in horrified fascination as she recreated the murder of her family in real time. Her small hands moved with disturbing precision, showing the 4 men entering, her father trying to protect them, her mother pushing Tommy toward the stairs, the shots, the blood. When she drew herself hiding in the closet, tears ran down her cheeks, but still she made no sound. Then she drew something new, something she'd never drawn before. After the murders, the 4 men searching the house, taking her father's laptop and files, Chief Pemberton on his phone saying, "It's done." The journalist is silenced. She drew Mayor Pemberton finding her closet, opening the door, seeing her there among the crayons and drawings. She drew his face the moment of decision, then his hand closing the door, leaving her alive. Why? Janet Morrison asked gently. Why did he let you live? Lily wrote one word, broken. It took a moment for everyone to understand. They thought she was already broken, a mute child who couldn't testify, who couldn't speak their secrets. They'd underestimated her. Mayor Pemberton suddenly stood. I want to make a deal. Sit down. His lawyer hissed, but it was too late. She's right. Thomas Pemberton shouted. We left her because she couldn't talk. We thought, we thought, His lawyer physically pulled him back into his seat, but the damage was done. This is why we share these stories, because justice sometimes comes from unexpected places. If you're moved by Lily's courage, subscribe to Justice System USA, share this video. Let the world know that every voice matters, even the silent ones. The trial continued for 2 more weeks. The physical evidence, combined with Lily's drawings and the mayor's outburst, painted a clear picture. David Watson had uncovered a conspiracy of corruption going back decades. The 4 men had decided to silence him and his family. More witnesses came forward once the Pembertons were arrested. City employees who'd been threatened, business owners who'd been extorted, citizens who'd been too afraid to speak up. The empire of fear the 4 men had built began to crumble. Victor Brennan was the next to break, offering to testify against the others in exchange for a lighter sentence. He confirmed every detail in Lily's drawings. The kids saw everything. He said on the stand, we thought she was just a mute little girl. Tom said, leave her. She can't tell anyone anything. We were wrong. She told everyone everything, just not with words. The jury deliberated for only 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. As the 4 men were led away in handcuffs, Lily drew one final picture. It showed her family in heaven, watching. At the bottom, she wrote, they can speak now. 6 months later, Lily Watson stood in the new community center built where Victor Brennan's corrupt construction company once stood. She still didn't speak, but she didn't need to. Her art exhibition, Voices Without Words, featured not just her testimony drawings, but new works showing hope, healing, and justice. Detective Sarah Chen, now Chief Chen, after the entire previous administration was imprisoned, stood beside her. "You saved our town, Lily. Your pictures gave voices to everyone who was too afraid to speak." Lily smiled and showed Sarah her newest drawing. It depicted Sarah as a superhero, with a cape and badge, protecting children. Sarah laughed, tears in her eyes. "No, sweetheart, you're the superhero. You spoke the truth when no one else could." That night, something remarkable happened. As Lily tucked into bed at her aunt's house, she looked at a photo of her family and whispered 2 words, her first in 3 years. "For you." Her voice was soft, uncertain, but it was there. The silence was breaking. But even if she never spoke another word, Lily Watson had already said everything that needed to be said. Her drawings hung in the courthouse, the police station, and the mayor's office, a reminder that truth doesn't always need words, that justice doesn't always come from the powerful, that sometimes the smallest, quietest voice can bring down an empire. The Watson family murder case became a landmark in legal history. Courts across the country began accepting alternative forms of testimony from children with communication disorders. The Lily Watson law ensured that every child's voice, however it was expressed, would be heard. And in Riverside, for empty cells stood as testament to a simple truth: evil may try to silence the innocent, but the innocent always find a way to speak. Through art, through courage, through crayons held in small, determined hands. Thank you for watching this extraordinary story of justice found through a child's drawings. What did you think of Lily's incredible courage? Have you ever seen truth revealed in unexpected ways? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Justice System USA. Hit the notification bell. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that every voice matters, even the ones that don't make a sound. Where are you watching from today? Let us know in the comments. Whether you're in a big city or a small town like Riverside, remember, corruption thrives in silence, but justice finds a way to speak. Until next time, this is Justice System USA, where we believe that in America's courtrooms, truth has many voices. Sometimes it speaks in words, sometimes in evidence, and sometimes in the brave drawings of a 7-year-old girl who refused to let her family's killers walk free. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it draws, but it always finds a way.